deal breaker to be sure. Joining us to talk about this, early show financial advisor Ray Martin and psychologist and relationship expert Cooper Lawrence. Morning, kids.
Morning.
Are you surprised by this story?
No, I mean, this is a whole generation of narcissists that feel like they're entitled, so they run up all kinds of money, all kinds of debt, because they feel like I deserve a house, I deserve cars, I deserve all that kind of stuff, I deserve to live beyond my means.
Should a relationship hinge, though, on something like this?
It should if it's about the person's personality. It's one thing if your debt is because you're trying to get a PhD, trying to further your career, trying to do something for your life.
Right.
It's a very different message that you're sending of your character than if you're someone who just, is living, all their bills are on their credit cards, they like to shop. Two very different people there.
All right, Ray Martin.
I jump in here on that one.
Finances are your area of expertise. But we're going to ask you to come over a bridge here. You're meeting for coffee and it's your first date. Do you bring your tax return with you?
Yeah, there's a time to talk about money, but I don't think it's the first date.
That's so romantic.
Not the first date?
First date, the seventh date, the eighth date, after you get to third base. I don't know when you do it here, okay? But, there is a time to do it, and here's why. You talk about having kids. You talk about careers. You have aspirations of things you want to accomplish together. Money is a central part of that. All of that goes into that. And so you have to talk about that, because if you have a lot of debt built up, it could be a constraint. We can't buy the kind of house and live in the place you want to, or we can't have as many kids as we thought until we do this.
Because marriage and those relationships are about dreams and aspirations, and if you have a giant dead weight behind you, it's kind of hard to take off.
You got to get it out there. And I think trust, relationships are about trust, and trusting we can talk about this together and talk about how we'll deal with it together. You've got to get that on the table.
But that's why full disclosure is important, because that's the first part of trust. If I'm willing to disclose everything about myself, even my horrible finances, that says a lot about me as a person and about the future of our marriage.
But if you're in this conversation and you really feel so passionately, and you know the passion is coming back in the other direction, and you say, and oh, by the way, I still have a lot of college loans. I mean, she has a lot of college loans. Should that be a deal breaker?
That's the beauty of saying it when you're in that, when you've got all the hormones going and you're totally in love, because you feel like we can anything, we can surpass everything together, and you sort of still have that feeling of optimism for the relationships. That's a great time to say, I'm really in debt here.
Don't wait until you're having fights about how to plan the wedding party to bring out that kind of disclosure.
Yeah, and feelings are transient. They're at the moment, but when you have that kind of debt, with $170,000 in debt, that could take 20 years to pay off, you're going to be living with that for a long time after the romance is over.
Does the kind of debt make a difference? Because the individual in our story here, this was college debt. You were starting to talk about, there's some people whose every single credit card is totally maxed out. They are living, they're living in fear of, having their phones cut out. Are there different kinds, and does that make a difference?
Yeah, there are kinds of debt, and more than that, it speaks more to your attitude about money. If you grew up in a family where money equals love, that's a problem. If the way that you express your love is by buying something for somebody, that's a very different type of person than if you're somebody that feels like, well, money's just to pay bills. So your attitude about money, how you grew up with money, and why you're in debt. Are you in debt because you're a label whore and you have to have head-to-toe Prada? Or are you in debt because you want to further your life and you're getting an MBA?
That amused Ray.
Because he's a label whore. He has fans.
Not even close. I squirrel it away. But are you the saver? Are you the spender? How will that conflict? And you got to get it on the table. And there's some documents you should look at, I think, for folks. And bring your credit reports to the table. They show every account you have, how much you owe, are they current? Credit scores and tax returns. Look at those things together.
You guys are awesome. Cooper Lawrence, Ray Martin, thank you a lot.